In a world where streamers like Kaisenat, iShowSpeed, and Nick30 rule the world, our main protagonist, Yuho Bin, gets his cheeks grilled by his popular streamer classmate Pago. One day, to celebrate hitting 700,000 subs, Pago goes live on a Korean YouTube knockoff called NewTube and starts his lunch break stream, collabing with another up-and-coming makeup streamer named Rumi, who only has 5,000 subs. Apparently, Pago and Rumi use Hobin for clout as they both force him to wear makeup like a clown and greet their viewers. Later, Hobin cleans off his clown makeup while contemplating why he's such a dumb, no-riz, negative aura nerd emoji loser. After cleaning up his makeup only to find an even uglier dude beneath it, he makes his way back to his class only to be picked on by Pago's cameraman called Snapper, aka Pago's boyfriend, who charges at him since he hadn't smiled properly on camera. While speeding the holy sheesh out of Hobin, Snapper is interrupted as he and Hobin eavesdrop on Rumi and Pago yap about making 30,000 yen on the stream. Amazed by the amount of money they had generated with only one single stream, Snapper decided to start his own YouTube channel as he asked Pago for tips on how to get started. Since Snapper is still a minor, Pago tells Snapper to A. Watch out for Drake, and B. Get a bank account and some proper equipment to start up on his own. Since Snapper's mother is super strict, Snapper decides to use Hobin's property to jumpstart his YouTube career since Hobin's mother isn't around thanks to an ongoing battle with cancer. Hearing his mother insulted by Pago and his lackeys, Hobin clenches his fists, but being the pathetic loser he is, he lets the insult slide. After school, Hobin goes to visit his mother who has cancer. Upon meeting with Hobin, Hobin's mother notices the bruises on Hobin's face and she worries that he might be caught up in some gang nonsense like a real G. In reality though, he's just been getting his cheeks clapped 6 ways to Sunday. Reassuring his mom that it was nothing serious, Hobin leaves and upon seeing the medical bill for the week turn out to be 30,000 yen, he has flashbacks of his time working like a dog only to get the same amount of money Pago and Rumi had gotten just from a single stream. During his shift at Korean McDonald's called Whackdonald since it was so whack, he finds his joy in life seeing his kawaii co-worker Choi Bomi. Apparently, Mommy Bomi was the only reason why the whack dam from Whackdonald's was selling out, and it also turned out that all the employees, including the boss, were simps of the goddess Bomi. As Hobin admires Bomi's big personality, Hobin is interrupted by Pago, who barges in with a selfie stick in hand, live on stream with Snapper following along. Being the cloud chaser he is, Pago harasses Bomi to participate in his challenge, which is to make a clubhouse burger in less than 30 seconds or else she'll have to give up her number. With his waifu on the line, Hobin locks in and clutches up for her, perfectly constructing the 10-ingredient burger exactly like in the ad they had. Seeing Hobin clutch up, the degenerate Whackdonald's homies dap Hobin up, standing proud of their little star. As Pago leaves, Bomi is left impressed by Hobin while Hobin oils up for tomorrow's beating. As Hobin reaches back home, Snapper streams his Fortnite plays from Hobin's computer and keeps shouting out to his viewers. As Hobin had cooked ramen for Snapper, while he carried the streaming pot over to Snapper, he trips on the computer cord and yeets the pot right at Snapper's face. Since Snapper was about to hit a clip and win 30,000 yen, Snapper blames Hobin for ruining his opportunity to win 30,000 yen and he beats the ever-loving crud out of him. Thinking that the stream is over, he curses Hobin's mother again, but this time, Hobin doesn't let it slide and he legit beats him up with ramen noodles. After beating each other's gluteus to the maximus, they both call it a night, only to realize the next day that their clip was trending on NewTube. Enraged, Snapper calls Hobin and demands that he delete the video. Since he's just woken up, Hobin doesn't understand anything. That is, until he checks his NewTube account to find out that his video was raking in millions of views. At school, Snapper becomes the laughingstock of the whole school as Pago abandons him. Even his attempt to gain views by bullying a nerd-looking fatso backfires as he ends up getting his booty beaten by another loser just like him. Later, Hobin once again runs into Snapper and Snapper punches him, demanding half of the money from their viral clip. With the tables turned, Hobin refuses and they kept on fighting. After a while of fighting, Hobin uses the forbidden technique as he aims and plants his legs right into poor Snapper's balls, destroying Snapper's future chances of becoming a father. After taking a timeout, they both chill the hell out on a nearby bench. To get Hobin to agree to his terms and conditions, Snapper reveals to Hobin the video of them fighting, and he tells Hobin that people will think they are staging fights in order to stay relevant. As Snapper blackmails Hobin, Snapper offers him a partnership of 10-90 split, where he would get 90% revenue and Hobin would get 10% revenue only. Thinking Hoban is checkmated, Snapper goes for a handshake, but he only gets shoved with a middle finger by the uprising Sigma Lord Hoban. With his negotiating skills, Hoban turns the tables once again and partners with Snapper with a 90 to 10% split, where he would get 90 and Snapper would only get 10% of the revenue. As their legendary saga to defeat T-Series and people like Pago begins, Snapper reveals that their content would be revolving around exposing YouTubers. The next day at school, Pago goes on live to milk views from Snapper and Hoban's beef as he invites Hoban onto his stream. Striking at this opportunity, Hoban tries to expose Pago, calling him a scammer for faking his giveaways, and he takes off his shirt to show the bruises Pago had given him. Unfortunately, Pago's phone had already run out of battery and the stream was over before Hoban's expose. Enraged, Pago slaps the heck out of Hoban, but Snapper, who was within the audience, pulls out his camera and live streams Pago cruelty in 4K. With light shed over Pago's fakeness, the viewers rage as they see Pago's true nature, and Pago continues to ruthlessly beat Hoban into a pulp. After a while of getting beaten up, Hoban once again hears Pago insult his mother, and he doesn't let that insult slide. To make Pago swallow his words back, Hoban takes on the most unmanly fighting poses and he jumps in to tackle Pago. But being the king of embarrassment he is unable to make Pago move even one step. To teach little Hoban a lesson, Pago picks up Hoban like he's a minion and slams him onto the ground. Just as Hoban thought that his role as the punching bag was over, Pago decides to go for a finishing blow. However, he is interrupted by Kim Woo-sung, the new kid who also turned out to be a professional MMA fighter. Annoyed, Woo-sung tells Pago to pipe down a bit, and hearing Woo-sung, Pago wets himself and immediately leaves for smokes. Seeing Pago wet himself up close, Hoban is impressed by Woo-sung's positively infinite aura. After a while, Snapper comes and shows Hoban the following they had gained. After returning back to his home, Pago plugs in his phone only to find his inbox bombarded with text messages full of hate. Meanwhile, Hoban thinks about his success while taking a shower, as Pago falls off worse than Dr. Disrespect. To stay in the limelight, Pago is quick to apologize, but he once again fumbles Logan Paul style as he accidentally calls his viewers gullible AF. All the while, Snapper tells Hoban that they will be focusing more on fighting style content, and now Hoban had to last longer to earn more. Apparently, their main problem now is video length. Longer videos mean that more ads can be inserted, hence the more money they earn. However, if Hoban can't even fight for at least 3 minutes, their YouTube career will only last faster than you can say, "not like us." Later, Hoban looks up Mike Tyson karate tips online and finds a slow method to learn karate from ground zero. To find a shortcut way of learning how to fight, Hoban keeps on searching and he eventually stumbles upon a channel with 0 subscribers. Apparently, the channel had a ton of videos revolving around a jack guy named Samduck, who wore a Hotline Miami themed chicken mask and taught how to fight. After clicking on one of his introductory videos, Hoban watches it with great concentration, but after a while he starts to feel like it was just another scam and he goes to bed. The next day, Hoban goes to his Whackdonald's job and decides to quit. As he was about to leave, he hits the jackpot as he gets lucky enough to get Bomi's number. At school, Hoban spends his time texting Bomi, trying to rizz her up. Seeing degenerate Hoban texting his waifu, Snapper reminds Hoban that they were now famous and asks him if he had come up with a way to make a fight last longer than 3 minutes. As Hoban replies with a no, Snapper gets mad and tells Hoban to not let this opportunity go to waste. After a while, Rumi interrupts them, asking for collabs, but before they could come up with a clear answer, Pago comes marching through the door and demands to fight with Hoban. In response, Hoban gets up and sees Pago full of rage. Just then, Hoban remembers Chicken Master, Samduck's advice, and suddenly Sensei Samduck's video started to make sense in his mind. As Hoban stood still whilst Pago swung at him, Pago stopped as Snapper once again whipped out his camera and threatened to release his video once again. Frustrated, Pago leaves and swears that he'll take his revenge sooner or later. Later, Snapper and Hoban plan to meet up, but since Snapper takes time and leaves Hoban hanging for quite a while, Hoban meets another streaming couple who act friendly and supportive towards him. After a while of chatting, they take him into a dark alleyway and rob him dry as they take his phone containing Bomi-chan's contact info. After a while, Snapper comes running only to get knocked down onto the ground. As the couple left, unbeknownst to Hoban and the couple, Snapper was live on YouTube the entire time and he had caught the couple red-handed. To get his revenge, Hoban does a cringe intro to his livestream as he renamed his YouTube channel to Viral Hit, and he ran back after them to retrieve his phone. After catching up with the couple, Snapper and Hobin found the couple at a karaoke stop nearby and they confronted them on livestream as Hobin demanded his phone back. Even though he was being recorded, the guy starts to fight Hobin, whereas Hobin applies Samdak's technique and jumps in early to minimize the effects of the punch. Surprisingly, Samdak's techniques work and he injures the attacker's knuckles. However, since every attack couldn't be jumped in and minimized, Hobin weaves around like a twig, making the guy annoyed as his punches couldn't have an effect. Spectating the livestream, the viewers believed that Hobin was going to get beat down easily, but just then, an intelligent viewer points out the attacker's fists, which were swelling due to Hobin's skull block. After a while, as soon as the pain settles in, the attacker falls to the ground, crying as he accepts defeat. After humbling the husbando, Hobin retrieved his phone and skedaddled out of the karaoke along with Snapper. After a while, as Hobin was deciding what to message Bommy, he decides to ask her if she has taken a bath, to which his chat bursts out laughing, ending the stream on a good note. As the stream is uploaded to their channel Viral Hit, it instantly blows up, gaining over 1 million views in a week. After a week full of content pumping, the boys finally receive their first paycheck and they receive over 2 million yen. Snapper thanked Jesus that they didn't get flagged for overly aggressive content and their video was monetized. Apparently, overly aggressive content can get them demonetized and their money would go to trash. As Snapper was explaining how monetization worked to Hobin, Snapper looks outside the window and he spots Rumi also live streaming. As their eyes meet, to boost viewership on her stream through Snapper and the now infamous Hobin, Rumi starts to chase the two, but the Sigma boys easily get away and stop at a nearby Gucci, Korean Gucci outlet. With godlike cash and a will to spend on getting them drippy AF outfits, both of them waste 140,000 on the latest tracksuits. Initially, Hobin was reluctant to spend that much money, but he instantly buys the tracksuit upon receiving Bomi-chan's date message. After dripping out, he reaches the meetup spot and to calm himself down, the wise guy starts to live stream. Just then, a girl comes running towards Hobin requesting a selfie. As Hobin prepared himself for the selfie, the girl went in right past him, taking a selfie with a handsome streamer behind him named Jinwoo. With his name on top 10 awkward moments, Hobin's self-confidence falls down through the ground. At that very moment, Queen Bomi makes her way to Hobin, rejecting Jinwoo's proposal on her way, and he surprises everyone since no one, including Hobin's own chat, believed that Hobin could pull such a baddie. Upon meeting with Hobin, Hobin's coincidental riz works as Bomi and him have matching tracksuits. After walking together for a while, Hobin thinks about the cycle of bullying that happened to him in his school and how he has broken the chain as he has gone on a date with Bomi. Moreover, a while later, they both brush their hands and Hobin starts to daydream about a future with Bomi being his wife. In his dream, he rizzes up Bomi with an empty flower bouquet as he told Bomi that she was the most beautiful flower he knew. Moreover, he also meets his children who, instead of calling him daddy, tell him to snap out of it. Just then, Hobin wakes up and finds himself inside a cafe with Bomi, who ordered a strawberry parfait while his body was on autopilot. At the counter, Hobin and Bomi overhear a couple making fun of Hobin being with such a baddie, and this further destroyed Hobin's confidence as he took off the Gucci tracksuit. As they both sit down at the table, Hobin is unable to respond to Bomi's attempts to start a conversation, which eventually bores Bomi. She apologizes to Hobin for forcing him on a date and decides to leave. As Bomi was leaving, Hobin breaks down and tells Bomi all about his virgin life and tells her the truth about himself and why he was acting in such a way. Apparently, Hobin had never had friends, never been to a rich cafe, and he had never talked to a girl before. Moreover, Hobin tells Bomi that he knew that she felt ashamed walking around him, but he couldn't help himself since Bomi was the prettiest girl he laid eyes on. Seeing that Hobin had purposefully sat at the hotter side of the table for Bomi, Bomi understands and is surprised seeing how much Hobin cares for her. As they both leave the cafe, Bomi gets a call from an old friend wanting to meet up. Since this old friend happened to go to Hobin's school, Bomi tells Hobin more about her old friend who happened to be Kim Musong, the MMA fighter. After hearing that Musong will be joining them, once again, Hobin starts to daydream that this time, rather than being the husband, he ends up being the intruder in Bomi's house, where the husband was Kim Musong. Moreover, again the daughter tells Hobin to snap out and Hobin comes back to his senses and lies to Bomi, telling her that he was good friends with Musong. At that very moment, Musong appears behind them and Hobin dies internally. With Musong's arrival, Hobin is scared to death and he has no idea what Musong will say if Bomi asks about their friendship. After Musong comes and greets Bomi, Bomi asks about him and Hobin, and Musong replies that they are friends and that he watches his YouTube videos. Moreover, he points out how all of them were wearing similar outfits. As they continue their stroll, Hobin starts to feel like a third wheel as he believes that a regular person who would see them walking by would assume that Bomi and Musong are a couple. Realizing that he was nothing but a third wheel, Hobin decides to part ways as he tells them both that his ingrown toenail is hurting and he has to leave. As he fakes limping away, Bomi gets sad Hobin was leaving pretty soon. After fake limping away, Hobin comes across Snapper, who is broadcasting his date live. After reading his chat, Hobin is embarrassed seeing his viewers make fun of him for his dumb toenail excuse. To help Hobin's sorry ass, Snapper yells, "Never back down, never what?" Hobin cries out, "Never give up!" And he musters up all the courage he needs, and he struts his way back to Bomi for his big confession. Utilizing Pago's well-known clout-chasing skills, Snapper pulls out his own camera and begins live streaming, laughing to himself as he imagines the clickbait title for this new video. Their viewers watch in awe, captivated by Snapper's underhanded tactics. Meanwhile, Hobin makes his way back to find Musong and Bomi sitting at a table nearby. Upon seeing Hobin return, both of them ask about his ingrown toenail, to which he responds saying that he got over it. Both of them are confused by his answer since ingrown toenail hurts AF, and the nail needs to be plucked out to fix the problem. However, they don't really pay much attention to it, and Musong gets up to leave as he has to train for his upcoming fight. Before leaving, Musong acknowledges Hobin's attacks from the previous video and asks Hobin about his next move. Surprised that Musong is a big fan of his, Hobin is in shock, seeing how Musong is analyzing and waiting for Hobin's supposed next move. With Musong gone, Hobin takes Bomi to a nearby bench, where Bomi asks Hobin what he wanted to say. With plans of confessing on his mind, Hobin, who is as flustered as a tomato, tries to vomit out his words and his anxiety shoots right through the roof as he rubs his hands at 200 km per second against his thighs. Mustering up some courage, Hobin finally blurts out and asks Bomi about her ideal type. In response, blushing, Bomi reveals that she likes someone who is honest. As Hobin is about to confess, he notices and grabs Snapper from the bushes, who was filming the confession. As he pulled Snapper out, he saw Snapper's face brutally swollen, and just then, Pago and his goons appeared from within the bushes. To exact his revenge, Pago starts picking a fight on Hobin and grabs Bomi, but Hobin saves her by bringing Pago's attention towards him. In order to save Bomi, Hobin gets himself heavily beaten down as he has no new attacks or moves in his arsenal. Desperate, Hobin thinks to himself that he has turned back into the loser he was when he first met Pago as Bomi was being held by the goons. To protect Bomi, Hobin begs Pago to let Bomi go, but Pago doesn't care as he humiliates Hobin in front of his girl, forcing him to strip down. Out of desperation, Hobin strips down and decides to flash his meat at the camera so Pago would get permabanned from YouTube. Before Hobin revealed his 2-inch PP to the world, Musong comes back to the rescue and he has a fun sparring session with Pago and his goons. After dealing with Pago, Musong takes Bomi and leaves, as he doesn't want her presence to further grieve Hobin. Depressed, Hobin sits lying down in the rain, bawling his eyes out. That day was the initiation of Hobin's winter arc as Hobin decides to disappear from school for a month and he trains his ass off. Meanwhile, Snapper receives ample beatings from Pago as Pago streamed his beatings live in order to bait out Hobin. To save himself from beatings, Snapper decides to visit Hobin's mother and he asks for Hobin's address so he can give Hobin out to Pago. However, as he gets the address, Hobin's mother reveals to Snapper that Hobin considered him a truly close friend. Moved by Hobin's true feelings about him, Snapper decides not to sell out Hobin as he takes on Pago's beatings and tells Hobin not to come back to school since Pago will beat the heck out of him if he does. As a month passes by, during one of Snapper's live rear beatings, Hobin makes his appearance as he stands firm and challenges Pago to a fight. Moreover, Hobin hands over Snapper his phone with his live stream open, initiating the resurrection of Viral Hit as he and Pago prepare to throw hands. Both Hobin and Pago prepare to throw hands, their determination evident in their eyes. But what will happen next? Will Hobin be able to stand up to Pago, or will Pago's strength prove too overwhelming? Who do you think will come out on top in this epic showdown? Will Hobin's courage be enough to change the game, or will Pago's dominance continue? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. If you want to see what happens next, drop some fists in the comments to show your support. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates and thrilling episodes. See you guys in the next video.